want to recognize those who are putting themselves out there in hopes of securing a seat. Former Speaker of the House Tom Gustafson for House District 89. Tammy Connolly, Florida House District 86. Michael Mergio, School Board of Palm Beach County. Dr. Christine Jacks, School Board of Palm Beach County. Dave Ehrenberg, State Attorney. And Hal Valichet, Palm Beach County Commission District 1. Any other candidates that we've missed today? Right here. Oh, thank you. Second, over here. Great, thank you. With that, let's give a round of applause to our candidates. Introducing our head table, if you likewise hold your applause, starting at my left, your right, we have Vice President Gail Howe, President-elect Manny Garage, Congressional Contender for District 22, Adam Hasner. Clap hands, don't make me come out. On the other side of the podium, on my right, your left, Congressional Contender Lois Frankel, Forum Club Secretary Ed Chase, Treasurer and past President Gary Crelo, and of course the Reverend Pam. Let's give it up for our candidates. We of course are always joined by students. Our students today are from Palm Beach State College, and they are joined by Dr. Bernadette Russell, who's the Provost of the Boca Raton campus, and also Activities Coordinator Sean Castillo. They are hosted today by our sponsor George Elmore. If George and the students could please stand. Okay, we're finally at the meat of the program. Before I introduce our two congressional contenders, let me lay the ground rules. First and foremost, this is not a debate. Each of our speakers will be given 10 minutes to present his or her own platform and views. Before our lunch, we had a coin toss backstage. Adam won, so he will be presenting first. Lois will be taking the first question from our students, and then we will be alternating who's taking the first question thereafter. There are no rebuttals. Each question will be asked of both candidates, as we stated before. As previously mentioned, we will rotate which candidate answers first. They will be given 1 minute each to respond to the question. 1 minute each, and then 10 minutes to present. Since we're talking about time, I know you're both very important, but let's introduce the most important man in the room, Brian Crowley, who's keeping time today. He's right here in the front row. Brian will give you time, so keep your eye on him. He will give you a 30-second warning for your 10-minute portion, and he'll also give you a time sign when you're through with that, and also after 1 minute time up for your question. Now the candidates. Adam Hasner is a Boca Raton attorney who was first elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 2002, serving the coastal communities of Palm Beach and Broward counties. In 2007, he was elected as Majority Leader of the House, a post he held until leaving office in 2010. Let's give a round of applause for Adam. Lois Frankel is most recently known for the 8 years she served as West Palm Beach Mayor before being elected Mayor in 2003. She served 14 years in the Florida State Legislature. Let's give a round of applause to Lois Frankel.
Well, thank you, Don, and thank you to the Forum Club for hosting today's event. It's great to see so many friendly and familiar faces that are out there. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here to learn a little bit more about us as candidates, because I think you would agree that this election and our decision in November is critically important to our community and to our country. Now, like many of us in this room, I'm from somewhere else. I was born in Brooklyn, and my mom and dad were Jewish public school teachers. Now, my family moved to South Florida when I was in elementary school, and I'm a proud product of the Palm Beach County public school system. And it was actually during my junior year at Palm Beach Gardens High School when my mother decided to take a job as Lois Frankel's campaign manager for State House of Representatives. Now, yeah, that's right, my mom was Lois Frankel's first campaign manager back in 1986, and so as a teenage Republican at the time, you can only imagine the tough negotiations at the Hasner house, me trying to get the keys to the car on Friday night when I wasn't willing to go out and help my mom and her boss putting up yard signs on Saturday morning. But as you can see, Lois and I have known each other for many years. We have many policy disagreements, and we have very different styles. And today we stand here on the same stage running for Congress with two very different visions for the future of our country. Now the rest of my story, I had the privilege and honor of interning for then Congressman Tom Lewis on Capitol Hill during my time in college. I graduated from law school, and although I never actually practiced law, I have over 15 years of private sector business experience working with hospitals and physician practices. I served in the State House of Representatives from 2002 to 2010, representing Palm Beach and Broward counties. I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish during those years for our community and for our state. We were able to recruit the Scripps Research Institute, the development of the Ocean Energy Initiative down in Fort Lauderdale, the establishment of a 4-year medical school at Florida Atlantic University. We passed the first in the nation Iran divestment legislation, stopping state pension funds from investing in companies that do business in Iran. We fought for real property tax relief, and we balanced budgets. And it was also during that time that I met and married my wife Jillian, who is here with us today. Regardless of your political affiliation, I think we can all agree Washington is broken and both parties are to blame. Now, one of the first things that I believe makes Washington so dysfunctional is that the people that we elect don't live by the same set of rules as the rest of us. Now, back in 2008, when Florida fell on tough economic times and all of us were being asked to make do with less, I led the effort in the state legislature to cut my own salary and to cut the salaries of all members of the Florida House and the Florida Senate. And as you can imagine, that certainly did not make me popular with my colleagues at the time, but it was the right thing to do. And in the fiscal times that we're in today in Washington, I will never vote for or accept a pay increase. You don't get to do it in your job. Members of Congress shouldn't be able to do it either. I will also refuse to accept a congressional pension, because I don't believe that taxpayers should be paying for congressional retirement benefits that are far beyond what they have access to in their private jobs and in the private sector. And just like in the real world, when Congress doesn't do its job, they shouldn't be paid. Congress hasn't passed a budget now in over 3 years, and that is just unacceptable. It's no way for you to run your business, and it is certainly no way for us to run our government. No budget, no pay, it's that simple. Now, America is facing some very difficult times, and the people that I talk to every day throughout these communities, they are sick and tired of the name-calling, and they are sick and tired of the division. Scare tactics may win an election today, but they will not solve our country's problems for tomorrow. I think people just want us to focus on the issues that matter most. Getting America's fiscal house in order and getting America's economy moving again. And so in order to do that, we must create certainty for small businesses so that they have the confidence to hire new employees and invest in new equipment. We need to reform our tax code to eliminate loopholes and exemptions and reduce the cost of compliance. And we must be able to eliminate the red tape and the job-killing regulations that are stifling innovation and investment. We need real solutions to our nation's healthcare challenges, because there's a better approach to improving access to affordable coverage and reducing costs than the current law. Trillions in new taxes and more government regulations are simply not the answer. Now, my wife Jillian has epilepsy, and so we know firsthand the challenges that people face with pre-existing conditions and high costs of prescription drugs. I hear from people every single day who have lost their jobs and in turn have lost their health insurance. But there's a better way to make sure that they have access to affordable coverage. And so to do that, we need to level the playing field so that individuals can purchase insurance with the same breaks that businesses get. We need to eliminate barriers so that competition and choice reduce costs. We need to promote cost transparency to empower patients and consumers, and we need litigation reform to protect physicians and providers. Now, the American economy also relies on affordable energy costs. And with nearly $4 a gallon gas prices at the pump, I think each and every one of us is feeling the pain out there. But there's an energy revolution that is taking place in our country, and we must utilize these new innovative technologies for more made-in-America energy, and we can do it in a cost-effective and in an environmentally responsible way. It's the right thing to do for our economy, and it is the right thing for us to do for our nation's security. And we must also get spending under control and get revenues more aligned with expenses. You see, this election, it's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's not about conservatives and liberals. This election is about math. And we can't keep spending $1 trillion more a year than we are bringing in. It is unsustainable. We now have a $16+ trillion national debt, almost the size of our overall economy. And it is stifling economic growth and job creation, and it is jeopardizing our national security. America is borrowing nearly 40 cents of every dollar that we spend, and we're borrowing it from foreign countries that don't share our values or our interests. And as the saying goes, when you have creditors, you don't control your own destiny. That is true at home, it's true in business, and it is the reality in Washington. That's the crisis that America faces. It's real, but it is also fixable. You and I have to responsibly balance our budgets at home and at work, and I believe that it's about time that Washington does the same. Now, before we can tackle a problem that is this big, I think it's important to know the facts. Over 60% of our federal budget is comprised of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and entitlement spending. Yes, we have to eliminate wasteful spending and make government run more efficiently and get people back to work. Yes, we need to make smart reductions to defense spending in order to reduce budgets and do it in a way that doesn't jeopardize our security interests. But the fact is, Medicare and Medicaid costs are rising faster and faster, and they are now crowding out other areas of our federal budget. And Medicare's trust fund is going insolvent in the next decade. And with 10,000 people retiring every day and 8% healthcare inflation, it's just unsustainable. But doing nothing, as some would suggest, that's what will end Medicare as we know it. And that's why I support the bipartisan plan, a plan supported by experts from both sides of the aisle that will save Medicare for those who rely on it today, like my mom, and preserve it for those who are 55 and over with no changes. Now, unfortunately, we're constantly being told what divides us, but every day I get to see what unites us. That we want our children and our grandchildren to inherit opportunities for more prosperity than we've had. And that's the story of America, a place where there's no recession of ideas. And I would be honored to serve you, and together we will put America back on the move. Thank you all very much.